Gas prices are high, EV charging costs are confusing, and we're left wondering, which one actually saves me money? Today, we're gonna break it down with real data, expert insights, and a few surprises. So let's settle the EV versus gas debate once and for all. For those of you new to the channel, I'm Anton, a power engineer, industrial mechanic, and a Red Seal electrician. We cover all kinds of products and topics in an approachable way for the average everyday person. I'm glad you found us. Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. So here's the deal. The jury is still out on if EVs are actually even environmentally friendly. There's been a lot of questions about the actual costs of making the vehicle, shipping the vehicle and all that, and the carbon footprint and everything. So today, I'm gonna ignore the green angle that a lot of people choose for why you should buy an EV. And instead, we're gonna focus on the monetary side. Can buying an EV actually make monetary sense? Can it save money in your pocket switching to an EV over a gas car? I mean, after all, EVs should be cheaper, right? But then a lot of people start talking about high costs of entry with having to buy chargers, paying for fast charging at charging stations, and the water just gets so muddy, it's really hard to tell how many of these people actually own an EV, how many people actually know what they're talking about. Lucky for you, I own an EV, and I've done all of this math when I was looking at trying to figure out, should I buy one or should I stick with a gas car? So as some of you may know, my wife had a Mercedes-Benz. It had about 370,000 kilometers on it. And as everybody knows, German vehicles are super reliable, even if you get a lot of mileage on them. Wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. Everybody knows that a German vehicle, as the miles pile on, they get less and less reliable. They're more prone to braking. Well, we were at 370,000 kilometers, and I was pretty confident that we had gotten every bit of life out of that car that we could expect. So it was time to buy a new car. And with the cost of new cars being so much, the question came up, could the savings in fuel offset some of the cost of owning that EV? And that's when I started to do my own personal deep dive. And I want to take you guys on that journey and just kind of walk you through the numbers that I've seen. Now that we've owned our EV for a few years, I can actually validate if the numbers that we did were even correct in the first place. So, am I looking at selling my EV and going back to a gas car? Or am I happy with the EV decision that I've made? You'll have to stay to the end of the video to find out the answer to that, but let's take you on the journey together. Fun fact, did you know that 43% of Americans worry about EV costs? Some of their top concerns are the costs of charging, range anxiety, and the upfront price. So let's talk numbers. You don't know me and I don't know you. I don't know how much driving you do. So I have to make some assumptions. So in the assumptions, we know that the average American drives roughly 1,250 miles per month. So we're gonna assume that you drive somewhere in that range. Obviously, if you drive more or less, these numbers will get a little bit out of whack, but don't worry, because I will give you a really simple mathematical equation to do that will be very, very easy to figure out if it works good in your area, in your circumstances or not. But I got to bring you on this journey to understand how this math is working. With us driving an average of 1,250 miles per month, and the average vehicle has a fuel efficiency of about 25 miles per gallon. So we're going to use roughly 50 gallons of gas in any given month. Now, the average price for a gallon of gas is about $3.18 per gallon for a total of around $159 a month for fuel. Now, if we do the same math for an electric car, an average electric car is going to go roughly 3 miles per kilowatt hour. So if we factor that in to our 1,250 miles per month, we're going to use roughly 417 kilowatt hours of electricity in the month. Now, easy thing to do now, pause this video, grab your electric bill and see how much electricity do you use currently in a month, and then you can figure out roughly how much extra this is going to add to your utility bill. The average person spends around 17.5 cents per kilowatt hour of electricity. So overall, you're going to spend around $73 a month recharging the electric car to go the exact same distance as the average gas car that is costing $159 a month to fill with fuel. Now, if we do some really loose math, that's about half. So the real quick rule of thumb in general sense is if you spend $200 on fuel, you'll spend about $100 a month on electricity, saving yourself about $100 a month in those fuel costs. Now, if we convert that into an annual cost, you can be looking at $1,000 to $1,200 per year in savings. Now, I don't know about you, but an extra $1,200 in my pocket sounds like a pretty good deal. Now I'll tell you the math that I did for myself. My wife drives almost 2,000 miles in a month just to get to work and back and a little bit of running around. So her fuel cost for my area was closer to $800 a month in fuel. Now, part of that is because she was driving that Mercedes-Benz. It's a German car, it needs premium fuel. And trust me, I tried to run it on regular fuel and it did not like it at all. So we did have to go with at least mid-grade and or premium. We filled up at Costco to save a little bit of dollars and it was what it was. $800 a month in fuel costs is what we arrived at. Now the electricity in our area is actually pretty cheap. So our electricity consumption, we calculated out to be around $150 to $180 a month, depending on the seasonality. So we would actually use a little bit more electricity in the winter time to charge that electric car, which we knew, but we didn't know by how much. So we averaged it out to $200 by just rounding up. So there was actually $600 a month in savings on the fuel. So more about this really shortly for how it helped drive our decision. You can't talk about an EV without talking about the hidden costs. And this was something that will surprise you very, very quickly, especially if you've made the decision to get yourself an EV. Because the first thing you got to do is have a way to charge it. When you get your brand new car, there's gas stations everywhere. So it's not a big deal. You just go fill it up and drive home. And then when you need more gas, you just fill it up again. But now you've driven your EV home and you're looking at this little plug, you plug it into the wall and you find out that the average EV charger is only going to put about 4 miles per hour that it's on the charger. So quickly you can see you will run out of charge really fast. And this is where that range anxiety comes in. So the solution is quite simple. You're looking at installing a level 2 charger at your house. Now, a fully powered level 2 charger will put somewhere between 40 to 45 miles per hour of charge back into your car. So quickly you can figure out, if the car has a range of 300 miles, it's not going to take very long to put all of the power back in with a properly set up level 2 charger. But that's not cheap. You can get a level 2 charger that's a slow level 2 charger for about $200. Or you can get a level 2 charger like the one we got, which is the fastest one we could get, and it was closer to $600. And then you need to install it. Most of you don't have the wiring in your garage to power a charger like that. One of these chargers needs about as much power as the stove in your house. So yes, you could run an extension cord from your stove to your level 2 charger and that would work, but it's kind of a temporary solution. The real fix is to hire a professional who will come in and run the wiring to your garage to support your level 2 charger. So now we've got a $600 charger, and that professional is going to charge you between $1,000 to $2,000 to do that install. So easily, you've got an upfront cost of $2,000 just to be able to use your car the way that you want. And that doesn't even include those of us who are renting and or live in condo buildings where we don't even have the option to run that level 2 charger. So now you're looking at slow charging through the 110 outlet, which only is doing those 4 miles an hour, and or charging at a fast charger, which is major dollars. That calculation that we did earlier, it does not apply when you're talking about fast charging at a level 3 charger. All bets are off at that point, and it's probably more balanced. The cost of fuel is going to be pretty much the same as the cost of charging at a level 3 charger. If you're looking at electric car and your only option would be that level 3 charger, do not consider any savings going EV. You now have to lean on saving the planet as your reason for buying that car, or you just really like driving an EV because it's not going to save you anything in your wallet if you have to use those level 3 for all of your charging needs. Now, those upfront hidden costs might come as a surprise to you, and it might be enough for you to go, holy crap, I knew it. I'm going to just stick with my gas car because it's so much better. I can fill up with fuel anytime I want, and I don't have to worry about spending all this money up front to get the car just to work. Well, yes, you might be right, but there are a ton of hidden costs in driving a gas-powered car, and most of us have just come to accept that. Most notably is the maintenance. The maintenance on an ICE or an internal combustion engine vehicle is much more significant than an electric vehicle. Electric vehicles have very few moving pieces, so there's not a lot to maintain. In the years that we've owned our electric vehicle, the only thing we've had to maintain on it at all is the window wipers. Eventually they wear out and you have to replace them. I'm actually still on my first set of tires because I'm not as crazy as some people, but there are people that say the electric cars burn through tires faster than the gas-powered car, and I think that's simply not true. If you went and got yourself a Tesla with 0 to 60 of 3.2 seconds, and everywhere you go, you're doing a 0 to 60 test run to make sure you still got those 3.2 seconds, you're gonna burn through some tires. But if you bought a Ferrari and it's doing 3.2 seconds, 0 to 60, it's gonna burn through tires just as fast. So you can't compare it like that. If you drive a Tesla or any other electric car the same way as a slow gas-powered car, ease on the throttle, you will use the exact same amount of tire wear as your regular ICE car. So I don't want to hear the argument about burning up tires and having higher cost of tires. It's just not true. However, an oil change is easily getting up to $100, $150, $200. And I did it myself. I bought the oil and the filter, and it was $200. So that $2,000 for the charger easily covers those oil changes that you weren't even thinking about. So in my opinion, those two are a complete wash. But it all comes down to location. Location matters. If you live on the Hawaiian Islands, where electricity is 40 cents a kilowatt, your calculation gets skewed a little bit. If you live in North Dakota, where electricity is 10 cents a kilowatt, well, suddenly an EV might be a very attractive option for you. So you definitely need to look at the fuel prices in your area versus the electricity prices. Luckily, where I am in Canada, our electricity prices are pretty cheap. So our calculations were pretty bang on. Now that we've owned an electric car for a few years, we actually have confirmed that our electricity bill is actually less than what I calculated that it would be, and our savings are even more. And so in our case, when I was looking at getting a new car, I was able to take that $600 a month in real fuel savings. This is not saving the planet and feeling good about myself. This is $600 in my pocket. I was able to take that $600 and put it towards the monthly payments of a brand new electric car, and suddenly I could afford something that I didn't think I could afford before. Now, not everybody's paying $800 a month in fuel, and not everybody wants an electric car. I get it. The calculation that we came up with was actually 4 to 1. So the electricity cost is 4 times less than the fuel cost in our area. If you spend $400 on fuel, you're gonna spend only $100 on electricity, and you'll save $300 a month. And that math holds true in our area for pretty much anyone. In fact, we broke that down into a cost per kilometer, and pretty much your savings per kilometer is a 4 to 1 savings. So you can figure out how far I drive, and you can say, okay, if I know the real cost of driving my ICE vehicle in these conditions, then divide it by 4. That's how much your electricity cost will be to drive an electric car in similar circumstances, at least where I am. If you're trying to do the math just real quick and you're watching this video and you're like, you know, I'm curious what it would be, do a 2 to 1. Just take how much you spend on fuel, divide it by 2, and that's roughly how much you'll pay for electricity. That'll tell you really quickly if you're in the ballpark. If you're in the ballpark, now it's time to do the real math. Get the real numbers, use the formulas that we've put in this video, and it will certainly help you to decide if electric is truly right for you. So now the final verdict: is driving an EV actually cheaper? The short answer is yes. In most cases, Yes, it will be cheaper. How much cheaper it is depends on the specific area that you're in. It'll either be even or less to drive that EV. So if you're someone who drives a new vehicle, you could seriously save some cash because you're spending the price on that new car and putting gas in it versus spending the money on a new car and charging it with electricity for half as much. If you like saving money, EV is a good choice. If you like saving the planet, EV might not actually be the best choice, but for now, you can feel good about it, and I like the added benefit of staring down at everybody around me because I'm doing my part to save the environment while they're still living in the dinosaur age. I know in our case, we actually have decided that we will always have an electric vehicle in our fleet, but I'm not fully electric. I do have a diesel truck that I use to tow my trailer and tow my boat and all of that stuff, because electric's just not there yet for those types of situations. But for booting around town, driving to work and back, and a general commuter, you can't beat the EV. It's better in every situation. And yes, we live in the frozen north. EVs are even better than gas-powered vehicles and diesel in the winter. They warm up faster, they're more reliable, and there's just no wear and tear on them as long as you do the proper battery warm-up cycles and all of that stuff. Now, if you've got any other questions about EVs, I've done a number of videos that cover EVs already, but I'm happy to hear in the comments any more questions that you have. I'd love to answer those in the comments. And if it's a good enough question that warrants a whole video, I'll certainly make a video that explains it in as much detail as I can, because I just like to get the information out there. I'm not telling you what to do. You can do what you want to do, but I do want to make sure that you're making an informed decision one way or the other. I don't benefit at all from you buying an EV or not buying an EV. Unless, of course, you're thinking about a Tesla, I've got a referral code. It'll help save you a little bit of money on the purchase of your new Tesla. That's always a win. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.